Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to learn about the VOW advantage. And what that means is we're going to learn about the highlights of 3 new wide-body optocouplers we've recently introduced. The IGBT Driver, the VOW 3120, has been on the market just for a few months. And today now we're bringing out the 1 megabaud analog and the 10 megabaud digital wide-body optocouplers. But before we talk about the specific performance factors of those parts, let's take a step back and just learn about the features of a wide-body part. So recall that the basic function of an optocoupler is to isolate the low voltage control circuitry from the high voltage or potentially electrically noisy side of any sort of equipment. The only way that that high voltage can get to the low voltage side is through the outside of the package. So if you make that package wider, then you increase the isolation voltage of the part. So wide body, it's a big deal because the creepage and clearance is greater than 10 millimeters, which means that your operating isolation voltage is 1,414 volts minimum, and your transient isolation voltage is 8,000 volts. The part is simply wider, which gives you better isolation voltage performance. Showing that graphically, if you take an SOP part which has 5 millimeter creepage, it has a maximum recurring peak isolation voltage of 565 volts. If you go to a dip package, it has a maximum recurring peak isolation voltage of 890. So the wider you get, the better the isolation voltage is. And as you move up to 10 millimeters, the wide body parts, you get 1,414 volts. Now for sure, not every application needs that type of isolation voltage, but where you do need it, where it in fact is required, is in Cat 4 applications where the mains voltage is 600 volts and Cat 3 applications where the main voltage is 1000 volts. You need 8000 volts transient isolation voltage, and that's what these wide body parts give you. So now let's look at some of the performance specs of our wide body parts, starting with the VOW 3120. It's an IGBT driver with 2.5 amp peak output current. It has a wide supply voltage up to 32 volts, which means you probably don't need a voltage regulator on the input side. And it also has a CMR of 5000 volts per microsecond, which means it can really reject fast transient noise signals. The VOW 135 and 136 are 1 megabaud high-speed optocouplers that are used for data transmission. They have a supply voltage of up to 30 volts, so like the 3120, you can probably do away with a voltage regulator on the input side. It has an internal or integrated Faraday shield, which gives you a CMR of greater than 1000 volts per microsecond. And the switching delay, propagation delay, is less than 2 microseconds. Typically, for the VOW 135, it's actually 0.2 microseconds, so it's pretty fast switching. The VOW 137 and VOW 2611 are 10 megabaud high-speed wide-body optocouplers. They too have an integrated Faraday shield for high CMR of 40,000 volts per microsecond typical. They have a very, very short propagation delay of less than 100 nanoseconds. The VOW 3120 wide-body IGBT driver will be used in solar and windmill inverter applications, in high-voltage AC motor drive applications, and in welding and UPS applications. The 1 megabaud and 10 megabaud wide-body optocouplers will be used wherever you're sending large amounts of data between low voltage control circuitry. For example, smart meters, or the communication between the electrical vehicle chargers and the battery management ECU, and in industrial applications. One reason we developed these parts is because we had customers who were looking for a second source to the Avago wide body parts. So for example, the VOW 3120 is pin compatible, functionally equivalent to the HCNW 3120. Same goes for the 1 megabaud and 10 megabaud parts. The data sheets for the widebody parts we discussed today are available at vishay.com/optocouplers. You can contact us by sending an email to optocoupler_answers@vishay.com, and you can also request an evaluation board for any of the VOW parts, which really can shorten your development cycle and give you a quick feel for how these parts will perform. Thanks for taking a few minutes to learn about the VOW widebody optocouplers that we've recently introduced. Visit us at the web at vishay.com/optoelectronics. And again, thank you for your time.